So you're a fan of Atlanta United, and you can't believe we finished 2 points from the bottom?
Ugh, I can almost taste the wooden spoon. Yuck.
Well, anyone heard of Tata Martino?
Oh, the best coach in modern MLS history?
Yep, the one with a 66% win rate in MLS.
But the fans are skeptical. Did Dyla suck, or was it our talent?
Can Mickey still play? Where does Marinchuk fit? And was Latte a bust?
Stop it. I've done my homework, and I've got notes.
We're going to drink some wine and talk about it all.
I'm Mikey Dobbs.
I'm David Cass.
And I'm Carmen Butler.
And this is the ATL on Fire podcast show. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of ATL on Fire, the podcast where we talk all things Atlanta United and all things soccer. And boy, if there's ever soccer to talk about as we head into the quarterfinals of the World Cup, there's no lack of content. Dave, Carmen, how y'all doing?
Awesome.
Yes.
Carmen?
I mean,
This is amazing.
freaking World Cup, man. Let's go.
In America.
I wanted to say something sarcastic like, nah, but I couldn't even do it.
I know.
Like, I was too enthralled.
I'm giddy.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely giddy.
I was just saying, Carmen, get yourself on camera there as we get going here, right? Or you are on camera. Look at that.
On camera all the time.
Okay, good.
There I am.
I feel like the soccer has been so back-to-back that I almost did need to go into like some sort of, special rehab or something. I mean, there was so much soccer.
What are you talking about? There can never be too much soccer, Mike.
I don't. I was not sleeping. That was a lot. It was a hell of a
run. Do you
run.
have a job or something?
Exactly.
Gross. But I mean, what do you call it? The withdrawal that we will go through when it's over.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do with
What are you
myself.
talking about?
Like, what am I going to do with myself? Is that I'm already sad. There was
Oh,
a
but
day
there
without
will
a
be-
game, and
there
I was
will
like
be
sad.
Atlanta United starting in another week.
Yay!
Well, and we've had a lot of bets that have come and gone, but I
No, we didn't bet anything. What are you talking about?
I did bet that Belgium was going to go further than the United States, and
Indeed.
Is that the first bet I've ever lost on the podcast?
I don't think so.
I don't think it's the first, but
not
it's the
even
biggest.
close.
It's the biggest.
He's at
probably
least
the
three.
second then. Second.
I think there's been at least three.
Second.
But you've delivered on that here with we'll talk about this Pinot Noir in a second. But I have probably lost more, and I feel like I've
Well, here's
owed
the ultimate
debt.
irony, dear podcast listeners. So I've won so many bets, and Mikey Dots is so far behind that I won the bet, and he decided for me to be able to give him the wine that I owe him for the bet, that he would have to dig himself out of the hole, and he bought a Chateauneuf De Pape.
Yes. So,
What
and,
the?
And all I know is I just grabbed for the top shelf. I didn't know anything. I do know that France is probably going to win the World Cup, so they're good at soccer right now.
Oh, well done, Mikey
see that.
Dobbs.
I
I see what you're doing.
And I have them
there.
in my Calcutta pool, so I'm rooting for them.
Yeah, you're going to
Okay.
win.
And
And then you'll be able to buy more Chateauneuf De Pape.
that is true.
Ooh, there it goes.
is true.
But cats being cats, you said as soon as you told him what the wine was, he was like, I know that thing.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I know that label. How do you pronounce it, Dave?
Chateauneuf De Pape.
Yeah. So we're
It's
drinking
very
a
famous.
2019 Chateau de Pape.
It is fantastic. And I don't even know
Yeah,
about wine,
I
but
don't
I
know.
know this is good.
Yeah, all I know is delish. So thank you to our sponsors up in Dahlonega who also make a lovely wine here in Georgia. Wolf Mountain Vineyards. I don't know if Brandon and the team are listening, but I know he would probably appreciate this wine as well.
Yeah, no offense.
I mean, this was made by a pope, right? I mean,
how old is this
The
vineyard?
vineyard is over 700 years old and was
Oh,
founded
okay.
by a pope right outside of Avignon.
Well, that Pope is blessed. Our other sponsor, Wild Heaven. I was just up there earlier, Dave, watching the Spain-Belgium game, and your Manchester United goalkeeper had a little bit of a blunder there. But, Wild Heaven, 3 locations, one here in Avondale Estates, the West Side, and Toco Hills with Fox Brothers Barbecue. But the West Side, as I mentioned last time, y'all, has Eats reestablished.
We got to go there.
Yeah,
we
we
do.
definitely got to get there.
By the way, just to give a little bit more of the knowledge. So since we're drinking a Chateauneuf de Pape, right? So the classic Bordeaux blend right? So people think, Bordeaux is like, oh, it's a Cabernet or whatever. That's only California. All the Bordeaux's are blends. Their classic 3-part blend is Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and Cabernet Franc.
I didn't know that.
They're all that way.
Okay.
So this is a blend you're drinking.
Okay.
For those snobs out there who are like, oh, I only want whatever. Just know, Chateauneuf De Pape is not above blending wine, so you shouldn't be either.
Okay. There you go.
How is your vineyard going, Dave?
It's great. Tomorrow we're going first thing in the morning to net the grapes, keep the birds away, and then we'll harvest another month or two, month and a half.
Nice.
Yeah, we're not there for the hard work, right, Carmen? We're just there for the smashing of the grapes and the wine tasting test. When are you going to see a bottle of this?
We do need a bottle. Yeah.
So we have our best wine ever that's aging in the bottle right now, and I typically like to let it age in a bottle for a year, so it would be about the end of the year towards the holidays that we would bring that out. When Atlanta United make the playoffs.
There you go. That sounds good.
Sorry, I couldn't even say that with a straight
Is that not like the best thing about the World Cup? We got to forget about
Yeah, we
Atlanta
really
United for a
did get to
second.
forget about it. Uh-huh.
But wow, okay, so when the last podcast we had made it out of the group, right? Or did we make it through game 3 in the last podcast? Do you remember? Had we lost?
We had definitely qualified. It was
So I think we had lost our
game.
game to Turkey 3-2, so that was the last one, and we were going to play Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Yeah, I think so.
That sounds right.
Yeah. So we then have the Bosnia Herzegovina game. You want to start there as a little bit of a starting point? A 2-0 win with the controversial red card?
Yeah. I mean, we look great. It wasn't the dynamic performance attacking-wise you saw at Paraguay when we scored 4 goals, but we scored 2 great goals. A free kick. Ooh. Right? Amazing.
And Tillman with over the top.
That was after he went down a man down. He's like,
and then he ended up doing that again in the next game, too.
Yes, he did. Twice.
He did.
So, it was a great quick counter to Balogun to score the first. A little bit fortunate on the deflection off the defender, but he was first to react and brilliantly finished through the goalkeeper's legs.
Yep.
It was totally in control.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I said a couple things during the World Cup, and we can revisit them. One, you cannot sit back and beat the U.S. That's the way to lose to us, is to sit back. The way to beat us, if you come at us, our defense is terrible. And you can score against us, and particularly Simrim. Excuse me. Yeah. Which we'll talk about. But so really all the way through the Bosnia match, everybody tried to sit back and counter. And I was like, good luck with that. That's the way to die against us. And I thought that Belgium was going to do the same thing because they like to pass the ball around. Uh-huh. They did not.
They sure didn't. Oh,
but anyway, what were your thoughts about the Bosnia game? Any more to say about that?
Yeah, no, I thought we were in control, and then obviously disappointing when we got an unfortunate red card with the Flo Balogun
horrendous
situation.
Goalkeeper. Yeah. I mean, a referee doesn't make even a call because there was nothing in it.
Well, because it's so obvious there's zero malice, zero intent, and zero force, and then you. Again, this is where VAR keeps re-refereeing the game this World Cup.
Right.
You show over and over again in slow motion what looks to be horrific.
It looks awful.
And could have injured him, but that's not what a red card is meant for.
Right.
When 2 players are challenged for the ball, there is not any sort of intent to be up high on the person's leg. It just was a coming together of 2 guys challenging.
Stumbled, right? Because actually the defender was basically fouling him, which caused him to stumble.
Exactly.
Yes. And then he just, as he was stumbling, he had to put his foot down somewhere.
Yeah.
He put his ankle in the way, if you ask me.
It was awful.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's almost the same thing as saying 2 guys going up for a head ball, right? And one of them gets hurt. Well, that's just part of the game.
If 2 guys collide heads and one guy gets a gash in his head and has to go off, which is rather unfortunate, happens to him, it doesn't mean it's a red card.
Right. Exactly. You almost never see that with Raul Jimenez. You didn't see that, I don't think.
You got to be doing something dangerous or something on purpose, and it's like if there's an accident, it happens all the time.
But it's like the people up in the booth they don't understand the rules.
Right.
It's unbelievable.
It is interesting. Yeah.
It's like they haven't played the game.
Yeah, they haven't played the game and they don't understand like what a red card is meant for, and it's just wild. And you know, a lot of people who are listening will probably disagree with this. A, you probably have never played high level soccer, and B, listen to all of the guys who actually have that.
What Mikey Dobbs is saying is, if you disagree with this, you're stupid. Continue.
That is, I get real opinionated on stuff like this. Big surprise. And I'll get to the Mo Salah stuff and the recent game too, because I have less strong opinions, but very direct opinions.
Yeah, and there were some clips on social media showing a very similar thing with more malice from Messi.
Yeah.
It wasn't malice, but he actually stomped on the back of a guy, and he was actually going to try to get the ball.
That was like the first game they played in the World Cup.
Right.
He was going to get the ball. He knew what he was doing, looking, but that one also didn't have any force.
Right.
I thought that should have been a yellow card, but they didn't even give him a yellow card.
That's right.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Yeah. So anyhow, that sucked going into the next game with the thought we were going to miss him. Then, FIFA does their thing and activates Article 27.
Of course.
With whatever,
the dreaded Article 27.
calls and things are made. But no doubt.
I was thinking to myself, probably this is a call for Article 27. I don't know about you, Mikey Dobbs.
Article 27. Which,
I don't okay, I need somebody to explain to me a little bit what happened. Not too much. So you can't appeal that red card.
Right.
But there's an Article 27 that suspends the enforcement of the red card. And if something else happens...
it gives FIFA the discretion to do that. Okay. So they've had that discretion for all time.
Right.
And it's been used...
No, it's evidently...
not for all time, but I mean for continuous.
This isn't the first time
it wasn't just happening in this World Cup is what I meant. It has not been ever used in the World Cup. It has been used in the lead up to the World Cup and to other things. Like Cristiano Ronaldo got the same thing, which was totally political and BS, to allow him to play in the first match of the World Cup because he was supposed to be suspended for another 2 matches.
Right. Oh.
And they just waved it all away. So that was suspect. Yeah. But FIFA has these things in the rule book to give them discretion, But
whether it's a president or somebody higher up, do you think somebody in Portugal, a business person or of persuasion, called Infantino as well to be like, hey.
So the Portugal people were lobbying, and I think what they said is
lobbying.
The FIFA said, look, we want Cristiano Ronaldo. He's a big star. We need him in the World Cup. I mean, to be honest, they've also done this. And you can argue the merits of this too. What was it, 2 World Cups ago when they finally decided to wipe out the yellow cards in the quarterfinals so that nobody could be suspended for the final. And I get that because they don't want the biggest players missing the final. But that in of itself makes no fairness sense. If you have an accumulation of yellow cards, it's accumulation of yellow cards. It doesn't matter whether it's in the semifinal or quarterfinal. Right. The idea that we're just going to make the final exceptional and whatever, I think is a little suspect.
I mean, FIFA has lost so much credibility.
I mean, at least
the way that they're applying rules right now.
At least in that rule, it applies to everybody. So, okay.
Yes.
But...
Yeah. I mean, I think they just opened up the shame of who they are.
God.
It's just...
So much. Yeah.
It's just corrupt on corrupt on corrupt.
And incompetent. And
incompetent.
Because also, the calls are wrong.
Yeah.
So, they're in charge of the refereeing and all that, so it's incompetent and corrupt, which really is bothering me.
Obviously the Egypt VAR ruling where they went all the way back and back and back and back.
So at least they have that written into the rule, though. So you go read the rule.
Yep.
It's when a foul is committed at the point of the counterattack, that's how far you can go back.
Go back to when the ball is turned over.
When it's turned over, if the point of which it's turned over and an attack begins, that's how far you can rewind and re-referee the game. So in the Egypt game, that was a hell of a long run because it was all the way back in Argentina's half. The guy's foot got stepped on, and he goes all the way down and scores.
But in the Premier League,
I hate it. I hate it.
In the Premier League, it's not that case. They have a slightly different wording in the rule. For example, so let's say there is a egregious foul for a turnover. They get the ball, a team gets the ball, they pass it back to their goalkeeper, and let's say they pass it around their back line for 26 passes, and then they go and score. What the FIFA rule would say is, well, the turnover occurred, they can go all the way back to the turnover, and if that turnover occurred on a foul, then they could overturn the goal, which would be nuts, because if you've passed the ball around your back for 26 passes,
Right.
you got no advantage from that.
Right.
Right. And so in the Premier League, it's always the attacking phase of the play, which would mean in that scenario, if you pass the ball around, as soon as you now decide to go forward and at them, it's a little bit more subjective and discretionary, which I actually think makes a ton of sense. This idea that we're going to write down things and make it completely, objective is bullshit, right? Like, it's impossible to do. You have to have a little bit of subjectivity.
I feel like whatever the rule is in the World Cup is pretty clear. I just don't like it.
No, it's terrible.
It stinks. It absolutely stinks.
Because it should never be that far back.
Yeah.
It was were y'all at the game? I was at the game, and it was very confusing in the stadium because all they put up on the board was VAR. It was like goal check. So we didn't know what was happening. We're like, clearly he wasn't offsides, whatever. We couldn't hear the ref when he started talking.
How amazing was that game to be at?
Oh, it was fun. It was a great game.
Oh my gosh, that's a life check of a soccer game.
It was a good one. It was a good one. But yeah, it was one of those things no one knew what was happening because our minds had left that because it wasn't even an awful foul. It wasn't like he got hacked or anything like that. So we had no idea what was happening.
Yeah.
So yeah. Ugh.
I was working during all that, and I heard the game in the background. I had seen a couple of the goals, but I will say, like, look. The controversy of the Mo Salah version that didn't get called back and the version of whoever the Argentinian player who got stepped on, and then that guy made an absolutely incredible dribble down the sideline to get it into the box, and whoever else for Egypt scored, and then it got taken back.
Yep.
The Argentinian player's top of the foot got stepped on with the top of a stud, and slow motion shows that it's clear. And so that's a foul, but the ref didn't call it, so that's fine by me.
He was right there.
So why is VAR getting in? So my whole problem is, why is VAR getting involved with a referee who's reffing the game and just let that go? So it should have been a goal. On the other side, there's Mo Salah a few minutes later or whatever it is in the game who gets his foot kicked in the box in any game that could have been called a penalty kick. I like a referee who doesn't call it a penalty because it's very soft. It was not a case where the player was stepping on his foot. It was a case where laces were coming together or toe to toe. And as soon as Mo Salah felt it, he went down like a wet blanket. and a lot of refs will give that as a PK these days.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have had a problem with a ref who. I mean, I would have, but I would have been accepted it. That's a PK. But they didn't. They call it back. And so, again, for them to reverse that, that's the situation where they didn't. That's my whole take on it. Why re-ref the game from the box when the ref has already clearly made a decision of a no call?
Yeah.
Did you guys see the Austria-Algeria group stage last game? That was totally nuts.
I don't know that
Which
I saw
one was
that.
Yes, we were texting about it. Yes, I forgot about that.
So it was 2-2. So both teams, if they tied, went through, right? And they had gone after each other, and it was 2-2. And it got to be, I don't know, whatever it was, the 65th, 70th minute. It was 2-2. And clearly everybody's brains.
The secret handshake got broken?
Yes.
So what just happened was they just sat back, and Austria said, you have the ball, and Algeria just passed the ball and passed the ball and passed the ball. They had the ball for,
It was so boring.
It was terrible.
Simpson episode?
Yeah, they had like hundreds of passes, and they were just watching them pass the ball back. But for some godforsaken reason, in stoppage time,
it made zero sense.
They decided to go forward in the last,
Algeria.
It was like 4 minutes to go. They go forward.
And what made it particularly stupid? Like,
Yeah,
That's the part.
It made it particularly stupid because they actually were facing a much tougher opponent if they won the game than if they tied. I think they had to play Spain if they won the game. And if they tied, they had to play whoever they played. They ended up playing somebody else. Yeah. So nobody should have let them go forward. The coach should have been like, we're fine. We're good. But for whatever reason, they decide to go forward, and they score because Austria was like totally taken aback that they were even attacking. They were totally flat-footed. Right. They score.
Yeah.
So now Austria is out of the World Cup after the handshake, right, afterwards, and there's only a minute and a half left in stoppage time. So Austria, like, panics. They throw on a sub, which they weren't planning on doing. They throw everybody forward, and 45 seconds later, Austria equalizes.
Ooh, like crazy. On the last play of the game.
So it ended up 3-3. Nobody got hurt, everybody. Like, madness.
It made the whole thing.
No sense.
The whole.
Nothing.
And it was like the last game of that whole round. Even,
the whole round.
The whole, like, yeah.
And the crazy part, the reason why I was thinking about it, is the number of passes that Algeria put together before they decided to go forward. It was like 100. Yeah. Like, it was something ridiculous.
I wasn't even watching at that
They
point.
had the ball for like 8 minutes straight before they went forward. What was the turnover that gave them the ball that they could have reviewed on that? I mean, could you imagine? It would have taken them 10 minutes just to rewind the tape to be like, when did you get the ball?
That's a great point. I didn't think about
No, but that's not how the rule's written. It's a moment of like when they attack, like when it is like truthfully going forward, like somebody's going forward. So it's side to side.
I think they can go back as long as they can.
No, they can't.
Until the turnover, no?
No, they cannot. The ball has to be whatever point they're passing it, and then it starts to go forward into the attack. Like that's
the phase of attack rule in the Premier League, but I thought the FIFA rule was different.
No, FIFA rule is basically the same.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was different.
It's you can pass around 200 times, but the attack phase is like
crazy.
Once you start a penetrating pass or a dribble that's going forward, that's the attacking phase.
Anyway.
It seems pretty clear to me. Maybe not to a lot
None of it is clear. None of it's clear to me.
I think it's actually clear to me. It's super clear to me, actually, how it's written. I just don't like it, especially when, somebody who gets, tackled or whatever, the incident happens on the other side of the field. I think maybe if they write it that way, like it happens on the other side of the field, you can't even go back to the other side of the field.
Yeah, on your half, it has to be on your half.
Yeah, that might be a good way to
that's a good delineate. But it would still, then there'd be a moment. Anyway, whatever. Okay, so you want to talk about more general, or you want to talk about the U.S. getting out first?
Let's talk the U.S. Let's just get that out of the way. Let's go depressing road of the Belgium-USA game.
All right, let's hear your guys' takes, and then I have a major take on it. Let's go.
A major take. I love it.
Okay, so the game starts, and it's clear that the U.S. is already kind of shaky, and
we started off
horrible.
Not just one person. It felt like every player in the field was off kilter in some way, except for Freeze, who made a brilliant save in the first 2 minutes. So he comes out and makes you're like, okay, Josh Freeze actually made the first save that I haven't seen him make ever as the U.S. men's national keeper. So I'm like, I actually was like, at first I was like, okay, that is an omen. I was like, this is a good sign.
Well, Freeze and Carmen are both Harvard grads, so they're simpatico.
Exactly, yeah. Big head, but not good feet.
Not good feet. But wait, why do you think this is a good sign?
Because that's just the way soccer goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
It's like the first 10 minutes, like if you're shaky and some keeper makes a save for you, like it's like you're gonna come back. Like that's just how it always is written.
Okay.
And so I'm thinking, okay, Josh Freeze just made a big save. If we can get through this first 10 minutes, sort our crap out, we're gonna be okay. Mm-hmm. That didn't happen.
It
just didn't happen.
It did not.
Not in the
as it was written. And so
why?
Or
maybe Carmen, maybe you want to say too, why?
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
what went wrong?
I don't know what went wrong, honestly.
I do.
I don't. Whatever your
the red card scandal. No.
Well, if it's not part of what I'm going to say, then I don't totally agree with you. I think that the players mentally were not correct coming into the game because of the flow balling thing, and everything was like every player was off a little bit because of their mindset and whatever the case was, their timing wasn't correct. They either prepared to play with Pepe and had to switch last minute and those tactics, all of the above. Like it was a multitude of a bunch of things, but the players were just not ready in their brain to start that game.
It really didn't look like it.
So you're blaming the Balogun controversy or no?
Not really.
Because I actually think a lot of people are. They're saying the Balogun thing really threw out the team. I don't think that was the case.
I'm just blaming the players for not, like they were off and not playing.
But the question is, here's the question. Right, so anybody can have an off day. But with Pochettino getting them up and having 3 straight games where they came out lightning, they scored early, they were on the front foot, how does it, and with the good vibes, how does it suddenly disappear in Game 5?
Yes, Mikey does.
Yeah.
We play a European good team that knows how to defend and is better than us.
Sure.
As our bet proves.
Sure, but that doesn't cause you to start out flat. It just means somebody can beat you.
It does. We played a better, superior team, and they absolutely made us look average. That's what happened.
I don't think
it's tough to accept, Dave. It is.
That's not what I think happened.
It is.
So what happened?
Cats?
As I have been saying the whole time, the way to beat United States is to attack, okay? Mm-hmm. So the United States was creating the front foot the whole tournament by back pressing and pressing up high. They were causing turnovers. They were keeping people in their end. The midfield of Tillman and Adams and McKinney were dominating possession. And some people are like, oh, yeah, well, they finally got a good midfield in Belgium and they got beat. That wasn't the case. Actually, what happened was, and I was shocked, the Belgian coach and the Belgian team decided they actually gave us so much respect. They decided they were not going to try to play through that at all. They just kicked the ball over the top. If you go back to the first 20 minutes of the game, the goalkeeper, Courtois, launched the ball. The backs launched the ball. They just pummeled it forward. That was the change.
Would not disagree with the tactics that worked to ultimately win the game, and actually Belgium did the right thing to try.
Good on them.
Good on them. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't enough the way that we played. Like our quality, even with our crappy backline,
that's what I'm talking about.
Like we still had, like, the only big weakness is Ream back there. We had plenty of talent to be able to calmly deal with that. We weren't calmly dealing with it. We are capable of playing out of the back. We weren't even passing the ball to people's feet correctly.
First of all,
it was a disaster on just how individuals were playing, and that has nothing to do with them playing over the top. Like
I think it does.
It doesn't. It doesn't. We couldn't do the basics, man.
Wait, hold on. Let me talk about it. So obviously, I agree with you that our defense isn't so woeful that we couldn't deal with it at all. But they were, so taken by surprise. They expected Belgium to play along the ground and try to play out of the back. And it took away our strength, our mojo, if you will. They were like, look, we are going to beat them in the midfield. We are prepared to do that. We're going to keep them in the end. And suddenly they were like, the ball's just over our head, and our defense is really struggling to deal with it, and they're in our end all the time, and nobody's been in our end the entire game, and it just annihilated us. They took us out of our game, and it was disaster for us.
I want to believe that over the time, like, it's not what I witnessed. Like, I just witnessed
I actually think any team could have beaten us that way.
Even
if you go back to Australia, if you go back to Paraguay,
Carmen,
if they had just kicked the ball forward, they would have beaten us.
You and I watched that game.
We did.
They were fully capable of dealing with the ball over the top. That wasn't it. It was like blunderous. It was blunderous. This wasn't being surprised. This is like not being up to the task for the day.
Well, let me say one thing else, because the other time is, even when we dealt with it correctly, we started immediately having to play the ball out of the back because it was so far. Okay. And they got us into where we started making mistakes. We hadn't had to play out of the back the entire tournament. We're terrible playing out of the back, and we hadn't had to do it because we were keeping them in their end. And suddenly every play, we got to bring it out of the back. Oh, we got to bring it out of the back. Oh, we got to bring it out of the back. And what you saw the mistakes.
I don't know that we're that bad about playing out of the back either, though.
We are.
We're bad at defending. I don't think we're that bad playing out of the back. We've got Serginho Dest and Anthony Robinson.
Well,
we've
not
got
that they were
Chris Richards. We got Adams. These guys can play out of the back against Belgium. I'm sorry.
I'm not
totally
sure.
disagree.
I'm not sure we're so bad about it, but we were just surprised to be doing it all the time, and we're not so bad at it, but we're also not so good at it. And so a mediocre team, surprised to have to do it over and over, was starting to be, they were stunned. They made mistakes. They gave the ball away. If you go back and watch the first 20 minutes of the game, I promise you, Mikey Dobbs, you'll be like, whoa, I didn't even realize how many times Belgium just booted the ball.
Probably
that may be true, but it's like we weren't making simple passes. Like just like the first pass out,
I
like
get
we
it.
were
like you're saying they just forgot how to play soccer and they're so surprised how to deal with the ball over the top.
Well,
and let's talk about the players you're talking about. Chris Richards, Adams, and Anton Robinson.
Well, this team,
Dest,
in training was they were prepared for a different game,
but it's not
that they were going to do it, and then suddenly they're on the back foot having to build out of the back. They probably actually, to be honest with you, hadn't trained that much playing out of the back because they're like, that's not what we're going to do.
These guys play professional soccer week in and week out in Europe.
But what it did was we had a mojo going, and our mojo was winning the ball back up top and keeping them in their end and using our incredible midfield to keep people stuffed in. And suddenly that was gone.
I feel like it was more of their
They killed our mojo.
I believe it was more of their headspace for the I would agree with the theory of the Flo Balogun and the headspace that people were in going into that game more than that theory.
I think if you go back and watch the first 20 minutes, you'll be like, oh my God, I didn't even see that much, but it was true. I think you will.
Well, I'll believe you that they played it over the top when they're attacking. I just will also believe in what I'm saying is that still shouldn't prevent that level of player from doing the basics.
Oh, it shouldn't, but it did. It threw us off. It shouldn't. Absolutely not. I mean, nobody's going to dispute that.
I don't think that's Pochettino. I think that's just
no, not Pochettino. There's no fault of Pochettino. He did nothing wrong, right? They just weren't at all ready for that. And they just, what they did was they just shoved it into our weakness. They took our whole strength and mojo and shoved it into our weakness.
Hold on. And then isn't that, if we should have been prepared for that, isn't that whose responsibility is it to be prepared for that then?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey guys, maybe we're going to have a team attack us over the top. Be prepared for that. Isn't that what the coach is supposed to do?
I mean, I guess.
If that's your theory on...
You can't prepare for everything. And I think Pochettino, I'd love to ask him, but if I were the coach, I would have just been stunned that Belgium was willing to do that. Because they're a European team with a midfield that wants to play the ball on the ground. Like, even the coach telling them, okay, we're just going to boot the ball.
And what did you think of them not starting Doku and De Bruyne?
That totally makes sense to me.
That was also a headspace thing too. I think that everybody was a little thrown off by everything.
It didn't make any sense to me until I saw them boot the ball because Doku, De Bruyne, they love to play with the ball at their feet. That's their whole team. And those are the guys, what they use, if you're Belgium and you're going to bring the ball out of the back, you're going to try to get De Bruyne on the ball to split the lines with a great pass, or you're going to try to get Doku on the ball to beat a guy off the dribble, right? And if you're not doing that at all, if you're kicking the ball over the top, then you need guys who are just athletic, fast, and don't care about being on the ball. And that was the team he played.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. It totally shocked us.
Yeah,
it's brilliant tactically.
So we got outcoached.
We got absolutely outcoached.
Oh, so that $6 million of Pochettino, we got outcoached in the game that mattered. That's what I'm hearing, Dave.
You know, the crazy part about it is the Belgian coach leading up to that game had a terrible World Cup. They were playing awful.
See how I do this, Carmen?
Against
the guy? Yeah.
They were awful the entire tournament because they were trying to play classic Belgian style soccer and bring the ball out of the back. And De Bruyne is a little aging, and Doku had the thing where he went back to Europe and his child, and he was thrown off. So their best players who they're counting on to break people down weren't playing that well, and the team wasn't playing that well. That's why everybody, including me, thought we were going to beat Belgium because I thought, look, they're going to continue to do the same thing. Those players aren't playing well, and we're going to eat them up. They're going to sit back and we're going to kill them. Yeah. And the Belgian coach, I think he knew they were about to get killed by the U.S., and he was like, I got an idea. And he totally effed us over with a crazy style tactic.
Well,
brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I don't know if you can criticize Pochettino as much as you got to give credit to the Belgian coach and say, that's amazing.
I had a terrible feeling in my gut when Doku wasn't starting.
Yeah, you're like, why?
And I was like, there's a huge why behind that. There's something there. And I remember thinking that.
But it's amazing. I've listened to a lot of podcasts, and I've read a lot of paper, a lot of articles about it. Nobody is pointing this out, right? I think they totally shocked us with the tactics. It was totally surprising, and it was brilliant, and it was the perfect thing to beat our system. You don't have to play against the U.S. Just kick the ball out the freaking back, make them uncomfortable by having to play out of the back, make them play over. Try to defend those things, and even the freaking goal that they scored.
If this is true, and I very much will agree that you're probably correct. These were the tactics that the Belgian coach put in place, and the team may have not been prepared for it.
Yeah,
but I think it's damning to the U.S. team that you can't adjust to that quickly in the first 5 minutes to deal with that mentally. And that's what I'm saying. Like our team, who's got plenty of talent to play out of the back better than we did, and to play soccer just in general better than we did, it was horrific. It was a bumbling disaster.
Well, what I'll say
is
that the reason why I thought the U.S. was going to go far and why we're looking so well is because our weakness was the defense. And I said, when we go out, it's going to be because our defense gives up a bunch of goals and Tim Ream is terrible. And, but I was like, nobody's going to do it. They're too afraid to do it. They want against our home soil and whatever. And you saw it game after game after game. They just sat back and they got killed by us. Right. But what they did was, the U.S. team, I thought, was a super talented team, but also a flawed team. And the flaw was clearly in the back line. Yeah. I mean, everybody knew that.
Everybody knew that.
But we were able to hide it because our midfield was so good at turning the ball over. We just didn't have the ball. They didn't have to make that many plays. If you go back to the Paraguay game where we won 4-1, everybody is talking about how it was the greatest performance. We were incredible attacking, whatever. The thing that you should remember about that game that foretold our future was the horrible goal that we gave up where they just kicked the ball over the top. It was a disaster. Two guys didn't know what to do with it. They ran in and scored. That foretold our future. And maybe the Belgian coach saw that when he was like, oh, that's how you beat them. You just do stupid football.
Oh, that was somebody going to the end line and crossing and went straight up in the air. And everybody...
No. The Paraguay game was a long.
Oh no. I'm talking about the Belgian. Was it the first goal Belgium scored where?
It got
popped up.
Yeah. And then no one.
And everybody's like, like Maverick and Goose. And it's like, where did you go?
But if you notice the first 20 minutes of the whole Belgian game, they were in our end, and it was a bit end to end. We got to their end too. We were attacking them too. But as soon as they got the ball, they launched it deep and they were back in our end. So that goal came off them being in our end. And then, to be honest, it was a little unlucky. It went through Richard's legs. It was Dest horribly not defending. And it was Ream just absolutely clueless in the middle. And what that showed is that our defense sucked. And if you have it in our box a lot, you'll score. That's what it showed.
You're talking about the first goal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But how is it that Dest doesn't go to that?
Terrible.
Ream.
But he's been doing that the whole time, and that's his weakness. Dest is never a good defender.
Yeah, but Ream was there and not a good defender of that.
Ream was freaking on the cross that went through Richard's legs. Ream was in the middle. The guy went to the ball, and Ream just stood there like a freaking cone. Ream in this tournament was coned. Awful.
And that header where he got just totally.
And now's the time, right? Here's the time. You want to go with you want to know?
What do you got coming? What stats do you have coming? Let's hear it.
Because, that's how it happens. So I looked it up because I was like, okay. So our 3 center backs.
All right.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I looked up tackles and interceptions for the whole World Cup. Let's go with Tim Ream because he was always our weakness. And maybe we'll talk about it first. So the third goal that we gave up that really broke our back, because we did recover a little bit at halftime, he made an adjustment. He went to 4 in the back instead of 5 in the back for the first time in the World Cup. And we were on the front foot for the beginning of the first half. But the thing that broke our back was the third goal that they scored. That third goal was just a long ball out of their back corner. I mean, Richards reacted poorly, was right over his head. Ream had a beautiful angle on it and was so slow. Yeah. He never came over. And that caused Freeze to come out. Hold on. It caused Freeze to come out. And then everybody is lambasting Freeze, and he made a horrible mistake. But he never should have had to come out for that ball. Ream should have had that ball easily on the read. That's the one the read across. And then, of course, on top of that, Ream goes in behind him. He gets an easy clearance, and he just jumped it. Yeah. So in my opinion, Freeze is getting all the whatever. I think that's probably even a majority of Tim Ream fault.
But we talked about this in the previous podcast. This was the game that Pochettino for the $6 million had to be brave and swap out Ream for Robinson.
And I said if he didn't,
I
said if he didn't and we got against the good teams, it was going to cost us, and it did.
But this team wasn't better than US according to you.
Well, a better team.
They shellacked us.
Our defense is horrible.
How about that wine that's coming up there?
All right.
I told you they were better than us. They killed us 5-2 in the friendly, and then they
it's funny.
In the World Cup,
so if you go, if you
9-3,
I think you bring up a good point. So in the friendlies, we played against Belgium and we played against Senegal. We beat Senegal 3-2, and we lost, I think, 5-1 to Belgium. And again, in those games, we actually looked amazing going forward. People don't talk about that much, but in those games, we looked really dynamic going forward.
Oh, the first half we did.
We also looked like total garbage in the back and gave up goals after goal. Yep. Now, the two things about that, so Chris Richards, Miles Robinson, both got hurt, and Adams, I think, was not playing. So you were like, well, maybe if those guys come back. So Richards came back. Of course, he didn't play Miles because when Miles did play in the early thing, he didn't do well. But he played Ream instead, and he never fixed our defense. The only reason why we look great for 4 games is because nobody attacked us.
Yeah.
So,
so who would you put in then for Ream if you were coaching?
Anybody but Ream.
Trusty or Robinson?
It's interesting. It would have been Robinson. I think I would have had him all along and had him more confident. He looked terrible in some of the warm-ups. To be honest, in the third game when he tried out, I think he was trying not just resting everybody, but he was also looking at the other players to see if somebody maybe could replace Ream. And Robinson played not well in that game. Trusty played really well, but he plays at a left back. I don't know if you remember that. So he played at a left back in that game, which was a surprise.
No?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Carmen, don't turn down the wine.
Sorry.
That'd be a mistake.
My bad.
So, to be honest, once I watched that, even though I wasn't a huge fan of Trusty, I would have played Trusty. Okay. I would have said that would have been my roll the dice. I would have said we are never going to survive in the knockout phases against a better team with Tim Ream. The best guy who's looked good in this tournament is Trusty, and he should have played that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I would have done. And I said it over again. That was going to cost us. So now.
And I thought Boligan actually played well in that game, though.
He did play well.
He's maybe the only player I saw the entire game. I was like, well, he played well.
Well,
it just wasn't enough because the rest of the team was bumbling around.
The honest truth is everybody said everybody played badly, but, what happened was, people were like, oh, Pulisic was terrible. Weston McKennie was terrible, right? Balogun was terrible. Tillman was terrible, and they were so good in the early games. They were never given a great chance because in those early games, we were up the field, turning the ball over, getting them on the ball. In this game, they just bypassed them by kicking it over our heads, and we were so poor, and they were building up against a so-set defense that they looked poor because of that, the way the game was going.
Yes and no.
I think if the U.S. had held on and survived longer and gotten on the front foot, it wasn't like those players were suddenly awful.
I'm not going to give him a pass, Dave, because
I think
let's take Christian Pulisic as the example there.
Yep.
And I would agree maybe they were a little more set, but he had plenty of times to attack players and dribble past them with them on their back foot, which Christian can do all the time. Couldn't do it. He was bumbling around. He watching him dribble. He was not on his game, man. He just wasn't. Like, are you disagreeing with me on this? Because he was not dribbling correctly, properly, or anything in between.
Yeah, but I think I'm not saying that he wasn't off his game.
Had nothing to do with the defense being set.
I think it has everything to do with the defense being set. I think in the early games, he was getting the ball in transition and he was creating things in those opportunities and beating his guy. Here, he got the ball very flat and was asked to do more, and he didn't do that.
Yeah, there was plenty of moments in that game where I was watching a team that were on their back heels. They weren't set, and he still couldn't dribble past him. It was like...
I think
he could have passed it and then got a give and go. Like, he just wasn't playing the right stuff.
After the pain wears off, maybe we should have a watching. If you're
going to be in the commercials with Messi and the Visa cards and Discovery cards and all that, then you got to step up. And Pulisic did not show up in that game. And then when he kicks the guy's back of the heel, he goes off the field. Like, I would have to have a broken leg to go off that field.
But the interesting thing, if you're a Belgian supporter, you're like, suddenly our players were playing terrible, 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 and then they had the greatest game of their lives. You know, like the striker who scored the goals, right? Why? Right? Was it suddenly he was the greatest player in the world? No, it's because they suddenly had the ball in our box all the time, and they could take advantage of our poor defending. That's what happened. So I think the same thing happened to us. We were beaten by them being all set and us not having transitional moments where we had them over and over in the tournament. And it makes all the difference. I mean, even if you look at France, who's been so dominant, the one game where they were not, when they got into the super scrap with Paraguay, they made everything, nothing in transition moments. They gave everything. It was, fighting, whatever. It was all tense. It was struggle in the midfield. And even then, France really struggled to break them down. Is it because those French players in that day just weren't on their game and had a bad day? I don't believe it. Well, I think they just fought their way.
But nobody who watched that game would say that, nor a U.S. team trying to break down a low block. What we saw was totally different in terms of, yes, they played long ball over and we finally got attacked. But even Christian Pulisic in the moments when we had a counterattack, it wasn't like they were that set, Dave. Like, I just can't buy what you're selling.
Well, I think what you're saying, and I would agree with, is that our players are not good enough to do well when we don't have transition moments. France's team is good enough to do that, and our team is not good
I'm not even saying that. I think we are. I think there was something wrong, like, with the way that we are playing that day. Like, Christian Pulisic was just off. It was like Dest was off. Anthony Robinson was off.
Like, the defense was bad because they weren't good, but everybody just seemed. But a couple people were okay.
I just think that. I think to say that we were off with all the vibes that we had, all the positive energy at home with the home crowd, the idea that we just laid an egg is hard to fathom.
Haven't you played a game like that? Like, haven't you played on a team where that's just what happens?
Or even just the pressure of being in front of, you're at home. This is the game we need to win.
It's definitely happened to me on soccer teams. Sometimes everybody lays an egg at once. Like that,
but I think it's a compounding when they take away something that you don't even realize your team was giving you an advantage for, and suddenly it breaks down. Like, for example, if your team is used to having a guy on the ball and he's creating for whatever, and some team now man marks him or whatever, and it suddenly looks like everybody laid an egg because these sorts of moments where you're getting the ball just doesn't happen anymore, and it throws off everything.
Yeah, I hear your theory there.
I'm giving much more credit to Belgium for throwing us off than us laying an egg.
I think you're giving way too much credit for them throwing us off because it just wasn't that much of a throw off given we had plenty of time and space even playing out of the back. It wasn't like they were pressuring us that much even over the
No,
top.
They weren't pressuring us, but they were kicking the ball over the top.
Great.
Instead of playing out of the back, which is all the difference.
Now, I will say, like, Freeze, it did get Freeze out of his vibe.
Yeah, it caused him to come out of the goal and make that error.
Well, no, but you even see when he would pick it up, like, he was in a rush. Yeah. He's, like, trying to play it fast. You're like, dude, slow it down. Mm-hmm. Like, let's slow this game down and let Belgium kind of sit back a little bit so we can get.
I think you can also say that as soon as they got us out of our vibe, maybe that we were trying too hard to get back in the vibe and not settled enough to get back into the rhythm.
Correct.
But I think that, so it could have
snowballed.
Was
super clear. That snowballed.
Yeah, it could have snowballed out of control, but after they threw us off from the begin with, if they don't play over the top against us in that game, that is a completely different game.
Okay, but that's basic.
Even with our non-vibe playing well.
Yeah, but I was screaming at the TV for them to slow it down. When, they got us the first. That happens a lot. And that should be the case at Belgium. The first 10 minutes puts a lot of pressure. That's usually the case. Then you got to come away out of that, get settled, and then move into the.
But a couple of times they did. Like McKinney Adams actually slowed it down a little bit. I think they were really composed, not in the back, but. And then it still didn't matter when we got to their end. We got a couple of decent.
That's because Christian Pulisic. That's because Christian Pulisic kept giving it up. He did, dude. He was trying to dribble by people and gave up the ball right after the midline.
I don't disagree
with you. 4 or 5 times. And that's not him too. So is it all of a sudden you're saying that they're so set that dude can't dribble by someone? Or maybe he shouldn't have. If they were set, choose a different path as an AC Milan's best player.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's not good enough to do it. But what I would say is if you go back and analyze the first 4 matches and look at every time Pulisic got the ball and just mapped out the players around him and then did the same against Belgium, is a very different circumstance.
I try to stay calm on this podcast, but I get going, don't I?
Yes, I love it. That's what we're here for.
So I think they totally threw us off. And I think it's a take that I don't hear that much, and I would love for you guys with me, maybe at some point, not now because fucking I don't want to watch that match again now. Yeah. But down the road, I want to watch the first 20 minutes of that match again and just see how many times they booted the ball up the field and threw us off.
Let's move on from the pain.
Well, I was going to say, just to let you know that our weakness. Wait, okay. So one last moment. So I looked up the number of tackles and interceptions of our 3 center backs. Mm-hmm. The guy who I said was going to cost us and did completely on that 3rd goal and really, wasn't doing. If you watch Tim Ream, not only was he bad on those goals, he wasn't moving, he wasn't defending, and I'll prove it to you because let's look at the stats. How many tackles did Tim Ream make in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches? I guess he didn't start 1. So 4 matches.
4 matches. How many tackles?
Yeah.
I'll give him 2. Maybe 1.
Carmen?
Maybe 1.
3.
1.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
That's what I figured after. I felt like there was 2, but I was like, there's definitely 1. I remember him actually tackling somebody in one of the moments.
What? In 4 games, 1 tackle?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know how many Freeman had?
Oh, I'm going to guess 5. 6.
Yeah, I was going to go 6. 7.
8.
Okay.
Here we go. Freeman is a player that's going to get a big contract coming out of this World Cup, right?
He's a baby.
So the best
21.
defender in our center backs was Freeman, by and large. And Cone Tim Ream did nada, and it shows in the stats.
So where does Freeman play now?
He plays at Villarreal.
Yeah. Wow.
He plays in Spain, the first division.
Such a brilliant player. Mm-hmm. He was, to me, the joy to watch this World Cup.
He was, and he's so young.
Yeah.
So young.
Okay, so I also want to then, you led us right to the other thing. So a lot of the takes that I've been hearing are U.S. is not good enough. The whole system is broken because we have pay to play.
Check.
Right?
Check.
And
Correct.
Nobody should ever expect anything different. We're just going to continue to do the same thing. How do we feel about that?
100% correct.
Carmen.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. And I completely disagree.
Of course you do, but
because
this is where yet you'll be wrong again going to this World Cup with Pochettino taking us better. Like you're wrong.
Hold on.
You got all these theories, Dave.
I feel like this was the same old U.S. men's national
What
team.
I'm going to say, so first of all, I want to qualify this. So they're not wrong about the pay for play. And that it's terrible and it's ruining our system. And there's a lot of things wrong with the U system. That's all true. It's absolutely all true. But our team, in my opinion, unequivocally keeps getting better and better and better. Because we have a huge country, and even when you F it up that much, you still get some really, really good players. If you compare this year's team to 4 years ago, and 4 years ago team to 8 years ago, et cetera, not to say there hasn't been any little fluctuations, but we have definitely been getting better and better.
Well, here's why. If you get an ex-NFL player's DNA that ends up being the Freeman... And that is playing soccer instead of football.
Well, what you would say is that's a perfect example. So the system is terrible. It's pay for play, blah, blah, blah. But suddenly here's a guy who's an exception, the only good defender on our team. And he happens to be a former NFL amazing athlete player. Yeah. And he just bucked the system, right?
Yeah, he totally bucked the system.
Now, he came through an MLS academy.
Okay.
So somebody taught him.
Yeah.
But in any case... That is the exception proves the rule. Now, if you look at what's wrong with the U.S. and why we keep going out in the round of 16, it's our defense. The attacking gets better and better and better.
So if we can get enough NFL players to have their kids join the pay-to-play system, we will win a World Cup. That I will 100% agree with.
We even need to have a committee kids. In the NFL.
Yeah, hey, don't get a concussion. You guys should play soccer. Get a bunch of mini concussions.
My point is that. So what we need to solve if you're U.S. soccer, you certainly need to think about why our defending is awful. Although the world has this problem, it's not just us, right? But I don't think even with all of the problems that we have in the U.S., the attacking is getting better and better and better, and we're going to start to have players of the ilk of, maybe not a Yamal or a Messi, but guys who are De Bruyne. We're going to have incredible attacking players. We're going to have Cunha's in our team. Ooh. We're going to have, really good players. We're going to continue to have them. And, the fluke in this team, which I think is true not just for America, was Tyler Adams was the only guy who defensively knows how to position and play that. And he's an interesting situation because he comes from a super athletic, family, but his mother got divorced.
He played well against Belgium, by the way.
And got remarried to a Scottish guy who taught him how to play defensive midfield. So he took the athleticism of this crazy family. Yeah. He added the soccer knew of the fact that she happened to marry. And we're a big enough country that shit's going to happen again. Well, weird things.
I don't disagree that we're going to get better. Mm-hmm. But man, there's still just such a huge gap.
Yes, but it's closing all the time. Yeah. The other countries are not getting so great. They're really relying. If you look at, for example, in Argentina, really are, actually, they are being carried by Messi, and they have the same problems we have. Their defense is shit.
I don't know about that, man. Argentina is pretty good even without Messi.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
Look at all the goals they're giving up to everybody.
They've
had the easiest draw ever.
Argentina has always been a team that gives up goals.
Yeah,
and they're always a team that somehow can come back even from a deficit. And they're scrappy, and then
Messi.
I don't know.
If you take Messi off that team's already out.
Well, for sure. He's got 8 goals in this World Cup. He's the golden
They're
boot leader.
being carried by a player, Argentina, who supposedly has a totally different thing, no pay for play, playing on the streets, blah, blah, blah. What I'm saying is that we over-exaggerate our problems vis-a-vis other problems. I think a lot of places in the world are having this problem. We're not the only ones. And there's a lot of countries that are...
I disagree, because every time you bring us our hope up, Dave, of this is going to be the World Cup, we don't. Carmen,
all I'm going to say,
did he bring our hope up in this?
See, that's like I said, I blame you, Cass, for my disappointment.
What I'm saying,
I blame you for my disappointment too. This World Cup, this is all your fault. That I'm
anybody who thinks that we just had a golden, anybody who thinks that we just had a golden generation, and that was our chance and we missed it, I think is totally misreading the soccer landscape.
I agree with that.
We're just going to have players coming through all the time.
I agree with that too, 100%. But I still don't think we're not in the top 10 yet.
No, but I think we're going to be continuing to get there. Now, I think we have to fix our pay to play. I think we have to definitely fix the guys who can defend because we don't teach defending at all. So there's a big set of problems. But we're so big, even with those problems, even if we don't fix those problems, we're still going to continue to get better.
If we make a semifinal, I'm going to be in a feeding tube in the hospital somewhere. That's going to be my reward for you to be like, oh, yeah, Dave is right.
Oh, goodness.
Now, we're making a semifinal in the next 20 years for sure.
Like I said, feeding tube 20 years from now.
You're going to be a feeding tube 20 years from now?
No, you won't.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, 24 years from now, yeah. What I mean,
it's a very specific number. Anyway.
Well, I hope you're right.
So I am very disappointed so the other people who say, oh, it was fine. I mean, this was a shocking exit. It was unconscionable. It shouldn't have happened. And to be honest with you, I really going to blame Pochettino. Pochettino, I think, is an excellent coach, but he's so focused on the culture and everything else. He never fixed the problem in the back. Never. And he had 2 years or a year and a half, whatever it was, to do that. He should have been desperate to fix that problem, including, for example, if our best defender was going to be Miles Robinson, he should have been playing every single time and getting better.
Yeah.
I mean, we said
because
2 years.
Miles Robinson, had he been coached up and played for the U.S. national team every single outing, he could have been a serviceable center back for sure, way better than Tim Ream.
Yeah, because I mean, we said probably 2 years.
Man down.
Uh-oh. I'm man down. 2 years ago, if Tim Ream is starting in the next World Cup, we're in trouble. But we didn't know who else was going to be around there, but we knew that much. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Got fired.
I agree. Was it worth $6 million, Dave, as you run away to clean up the red wine? We got a red wine down.
Excited.
It's okay. I don't
excited.
think this is that big of an issue.
I don't think it is.
But
wait, come back. Come out.
I think first off, Carmen, don't you think Dave's running away because more than anything, he lost the Belgian bet, right? It's not. Let's pick on him while he's gone.
Yes, let's please do.
Wine, because got our hopes up over
completely. Because I feel like if you had just asked us without Dave Katz, they were who we thought they were.
Yes.
But Katz got us all, well, not just Katz, but like the first rounds as well, got us all excited. And that's why it's such a disappointment.
Dave's going to spill the wine again. Look at this. Cleaning it up.
You can't be spilling no, I can't say the word. Chateau de Pouf.
De Bouf? What do we got? Now, this is a Willamette Valley.
Okay. Good
that we've now broken into.
Good.
So the other thing is, $6 million, which was privately funded, right, to bring Pochettino in. At the end, who cares? I don't care.
I don't care.
Who cares? Because somebody gave him the money.
At the end of the day, Berhalter probably would have gotten us further.
Ooh, big words. I don't even have. I'm just gonna press a button and see what happens.
Yeah, go ahead.
If I get another game or not, I don't really care anymore. I care about my team. I care about my captain. I care about my players.
Didn't have to waste that money, private investor. We could have kept the same coach we had and gotten that same result this World Cup. I mean, really, we can't beat. Who do we play? Australia and and Paraguay. Like, those were terrible teams.
It's possible you're right. I mean, in that it could have gotten the same outcome through a totally different kind of way, right? So he could have muddled us along and gotten the same out in the same round. But I think Pochettino did get us playing excellent attacking wise, and actually the pressing was really good, and we had the possibility of really doing better. He didn't fix the back, and that was our kryptonite, and he got blitzed by it.
Okay, but even like the most average person you're talking to, they like echo what everybody else says. Like, but I hear our back line sucks.
It does.
So you pay $6 million for a guy who knows it, because obviously we know that, and he knows that, and he doesn't fix it. Isn't that what he's supposed to fix?
You would think.
That's why we're paying him the money, to get Tim Ream off the field.
Yeah,
I agree.
So
I don't disagree.
At the end of the day, then how can you say Pochettino is a good coach?
Well,
how can you say he's a good coach if the most important change in the U.S. men's national team that we all knew needed to change wasn't addressed? How do you give him a pass? How?
Well, actually what's interesting is that
that wine's really good. That's what's interesting.
I hate to go here, and I probably shouldn't even say what I'm about to say, but
Ooh, I love it.
there are hints of Pochettino and what went right and what went wrong in what's going on with Atlanta United right now with Tata. Right? Because Tata, I think, is a brilliant coach, and I think offensively he's gotten some whatever, and in this case, offensively, we still haven't clicked, and he doesn't know how to fix the back, and he's running into the same thing. We're getting, blitz and weakness. So in his case, in Tata's case, he can go into the transfer portal, and if he can identify players, he can get better players. So do I think that Pochettino knew that our defense was bad and would have loved to go into the transfer portal, and get
no transfer portal?
But there is no transfer portal for national teams. And so that's an interesting thing that you have to be able to coach up what you got.
Yeah. But when you got isn't it, and you got Trusty and you got Robinson who are athletic, or at least Trusty who's playing for Celtic, right? And is clearly on the upside of his career versus the downside. Mm-hmm. Why didn't you make that decision earlier? Why didn't you bring him into those camps earlier? Why didn't you give him minutes earlier? When you already know as the coach, Tim Ream is too old, Cristiano Ronaldo is too old. They can't be on the field or they're going to bring the team down.
And my critique of Pochettino would have been, okay, you're focusing so much on getting the guys, back into the culture and whatever, but okay, maybe that's great. And he actually did that. I don't think I would have been able to do that. He did a brilliant job of that. But I would have fixed the defense, and I would have had them playing together. And I don't know which would have been better. So I don't think I would have gotten the offense playing as well as he did. But I definitely wouldn't have had our shambolic defense that was our weakness.
All right, so let's go back to the U.S. soccer upside. You mentioned the pay-to-play, which isn't going to be fixed, but there's a huge pool of talent because of the size of our country. I agree with that. I agree with, if you can get more of the other sports DNA into
do we still have military-based babies that learn soccer in Germany?
Right.
Yeah. Actually, we're pulling out of all of these forward military bases in all of Europe and whatever, so maybe not.
Darn it.
So you had the youth system. What was the other criteria you brought up?
I think I was just mostly criticizing, the pay-to-play in the youth system. I also said the defending, but
what about coaches in the U.S.? With the pay-to-play system, it doesn't seem like we've got great coaching still, even with, or do we? Like the
coaching's getting much better.
Okay.
Now there still is terribleness. Getting better doesn't mean that there's not terribleness, but it's getting better. Compared to when we all played, some of the coaching was awful. And you really don't see awful coaching. There's still some coaching that's, leaves your head scratching and you'd be like, including, I think, part of what's working against us here right now is that U.S. is such a competitive culture. We are not willing to let anybody develop. We have to win, by the time you're 7, and so that's feeding into it. Even if you are a better coach, when I was coaching my club team and we did, exceedingly well, we overcame it. It was a small thing, but then as soon as that happened, and we were only, what year was it when everybody left? But all of them went to the bigger clubs, and they refused to stay with me and continue to develop.
This is exactly why I disagree that U.S. soccer is going to get over the hump, is because of exactly what you said. There's so many distractions, options, big country, we're competitive. If you look at a country like Uruguay, who, by the way, played terrible this World Cup, but
awful,
poor example. But a soccer nation that is overachieved.
Yeah.
Even Belgium, for example, very small country. They don't have a big pool, but extremely talented. These players have had a soccer ball on their foot for how many hours? Again, the 10,000 hours and outliers. Like, all these players have had so many repetitions.
But that's not different from the U.S. All these kids have a ball all the time, too. They're training 5 days a week with these club teams.
But not on their own accord. Not on their own volition and hunger. And whatever sand lot they're in. You know, there's not enough of those sand lots where it's their choice. It's not structured. It's unstructured play. So it's all structured play in the US, and in these other countries it's, you know, like literally like we'd have a soccer game in this basement and it would be super competitive every day.
Yeah, but here's you know,
we
that's
don't
what
have
everybody
that.
says, and you can still see it sometimes in the influence of Brazil and Argentina. On the other hand, for example, England, everything is structured play there. Everything, right? And that team under Tuchel is the most robotic team I have ever seen. Those players know how to do exactly what the coach wants.
Correct.
And they're doing pretty well.
Correct, but you're missing my point. When you go to England in the back streets,
Yeah.
That's where they
at the
find
end of the
them.
day after school, the kids are like cranking with a soccer ball in these little areas, just playing wherever they can. And it's not structured. And yes, when they do play for their team, it's very structured. But
I think those guys who are playing for England, they've been in the club since they were 6.
yeah,
So unless you're talking about when they're 4 playing in the alley, you know, I would be interested in asking them, because I think those guys have been in structured systems from the time they
Well,
were,
I-
you
But
know,
what
couldn't
about other
remember.
countries like France? And
I don't disagree, but it's like as soon as that, let's say 12, 13-year-old that's spotted in the back alley, that's a baller, they get put into the boring England structured system that's in that little town, Watford or whatever, wherever the hell it is. They go into the Watford system age 13, and then, yes, there's tons of structure. But it was from 6 to 13 that all of those minutes on the ball that matter, we don't have in the United States. We just don't, man.
The interesting thing, the perfect right now, which may not stay perfect, the perfect right now is France, where they have all these immigrants from all of their colonies and whatever. Those kids are not pay to play at 6 or whatever. They tend not to be the richest or whatever. Yeah. They're sometimes playing in the street or whatever, and then a little bit later, they're getting picked up in these incredibly structured clubs. Yeah. And by the time they get to them, they know both.
So what you're saying
they're not
is
the Brazilian Argentina who's still playing on the street, and they're not the England guy who has been in the club since they were 6. They're the hybrid.
But did you hear Thierry talking about, he's like, I'm not from Paris, I'm from the suburbs of Paris. And he really talked about like how all the people from different places, and he was like, we play in the streets. You don't call. There are no refs. Don't call fouls. So you got to learn to dribble and not get caught.
That's exactly my point. That's exactly my point.
And then Zlatan chimed in. He's like, "That's where I grew up." Like,
if there's a great documentary on YouTube about the '94 World Cup team with Tab Ramos, and that whole group in New York, like that's how they grew up playing. Like that was back of the streets play. Like that's the momentum that they had, and they overachieved in the '94 World Cup. But that was like the DNA that the U.S. team had from the select random people that were from a lot of little suburbs in New York. Like
the other thing you get is, you know, so this kid from Morocco, who is the defensive center midfielder, who's incredible. I mean, just incredible. He was French, right? And
see the one with the hair?
Yeah. He at 17 years old or 16 years old, he captained the French under-21 team. I mean, just ridiculous kinds of things. And he decided to play for Morocco because that's where his parents are from. They're immigrants. It's actually interesting in his case because he's from a very middle upper class. His parents are academics. Apparently, he's getting a side degree in mathematics on the side while he's training. So he's not like
this is a Moroccan player.
Yeah,
what's his
he's
name?
not. I forget his name. Whatever his name is.
They're very talented.
He's incredible. I mean, he's amazing. But anyway, my point about him is that what's interesting in his story is because he's so not overt, he's not a dribbler, he's not a goal scorer, he's not so fast or whatever, he just understands the game and he's super smooth and he eyes a pass. He actually was always touted, but there were always players ahead of him who were more coveted. And because of that, he was allowed a little bit to develop underneath it all, right? And I think, so what my point about that story is that's a classic, you know, sort of, he was in the system, pay to play, all this thing from day one. But what happened in his case is he didn't quite get the best of whatever, so some other coaches just kept developing him, and he got to develop under the radar instead of being win all the time. And they talk about how he played it with some of the teams that were not quite the best, and they went to tournaments, and then they won the tournaments because he was so good. Yep. So that can happen in the U.S. You get all these pay-to-play. They pick the best players. They go to Atlanta United, right? And Carmen can verify this. And then suddenly you have a DDY club that walks into Concord and beats their whole team. Right? That's what happened in my case. I beat the top Concord team with the DDY team, and they were like, what? And they took my whole team.
They took them off.
I did it a little bit early. It would have been a little better if they could have stayed with me a little bit longer. But all of these things can happen, and there's all these things, okay, yeah, you pay to play, and the worst of it is Concord. I mean, they're like the worst of it in Atlanta. But you might have a kid hanging out at Roswell Santos a little longer, and there's enough coaching
Concord
there.
was the pay-to-play club in 1975.
Forever.
But we're so big, and it has all these other things that I think there's a chance that you get these players, and they're going to be the interesting stories. They're not going to be the...
Yeah. I just still think the gap is just so big, man. And I think it's because of all of the different options that still exist for a kid in the United States to do so much, not just soccer, where it's just not a part of it's not the root of our culture. It's just not. No. And so therefore we are always going to be, the underdogs on that.
But we
front.
don't have every single kid aspiring to be a soccer player, because obviously a lot of our talented players aspire to be basketball and football and all the other things. But whereas other countries, they do. That's all they have one sport.
Yeah, I just don't know that we have enough kids at 10-year-olds dreaming to be the next Christian Pulisic.
But we have 300 million people, and there's all these little clubs and whatever, and you can see it because the people are coming, they're different trajectories all the time, but our national team is suddenly, every time you think we have an indispensable player, right now, there's a player waiting in the wings who's just as good or better. Like right now, Pulisic is like, we have to have him. And, when we had, for example, when in the Landon Donovan era, he was the only guy. Pulisic, if Pulisic leaves this team, we got the next guy up who's going to be the next better Pulisic.
We don't, though.
We will.
We don't, though. Like right now, let's.
You will. I bet within a year to 2 years, you will absolutely be like, oh yeah, there's a guy who's just as good or better.
You're pointing out our problem that doesn't exist.
I think it does. They're not here yet because right now it's Pulisic.
I think that wine must be hitting them.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying. So I don't know how to ask this question, but it sounds like even with Pulisic, like he says one of the reasons he was good as he was is because he was able to get a passport or whatever it was to play, go outside the U.S. So are we still in that spot where when we talk about the next Pulisic, we're still looking outside of the U.S. for the most part? They might be born here.
Because you have players already who are making it to MLS like Freeman and, Sullivan and a bunch of these players from, Aiden Morris who are going over there in 20.
We can name them.
Yeah, but it's happening every single week. There's another one. And they're clubs that you never heard of and they're getting to go. And some of them are staying here and developing as well. So I don't buy it.
Okay. I don't buy it either, Dave.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
Still very. I agree with all the negative assessments about what's wrong with American soccer. I don't disagree, but despite that, I am still super bullish on American soccer. When we look at our roster, 2 years from now, 4 years from now, we're going to be like, there's another set of great players.
Well, here's also just playing open soccer 2 years ago at Silverbacks at 49 years old. I was 2 years ago.
Young man.
Before I gave it up in the Open League. Playing, even going up to Division II or whatever, the younger players, man, and I know that's not the pool that we're talking about here, but it is a representation of just not getting some of the basics of, it's.
Well, you know what's interesting?
simple principles.
I agree with you in that what's interesting about that, and again, I'm going to put a positive spin on it. Like, there's so many players who we see in those leagues, and they're awful because what happens is they've gotten coaches who know just enough to make them terrible, right? They're like, okay, we want to do this sophisticated European thing. We're doing like the zone, blah, 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 blah. And instead of teaching them how to be a good player.
Yeah.
And so, but that is a sign of progress because previous to that, the coaches knew nothing. Now, I think these coaches are terrible. Those players are terrible. They're being taught terribly. But a few of those coaches are really know what they're doing. They're getting a hold of some players, and they're even better.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like hearing them talk and, like, explain, like, I at least know when not to talk, like, as a player. It's just be like, hey,
sure.
maybe I should just do my role, and it's like, there's just a different headspace with the youth that, I don't know, maybe that's part of me being grumpy and old, but I just am like, you got to get stuck in and disciplined. And I don't know that the youth kids have that stuck in spirit that I feel like we've lost.
What's the name of the kid who was on the championship team, 17 years old, and he's gotten in the A-League to the USL, and he's now gone, whatever. What was his name?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't even know.
His brother's still on the team. He was the one who got the passport problem. He got caught drinking after the final.
Oh, on
Atlanta United.
What was his
What's
name?
his name? I just wrote it out of my
The
head.
blonde guy.
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah, now you're killing me.
I know.
Anyway, what I'm going to say about a guy like that, so he would train on his own. He was homeschooled. He was training on his own, right? He was obviously very skilled, right? And he's gotten killed. Like, he has not even come close to being
He played for
professional.
Indianapolis.
Yeah.
I know who
Why
you're talking
can I not remember
Yeah,
this guy's name?
The Indianapolis 8. And
What's his name? I'll think of it in a minute. Anyway, but my point is, a number of years ago, because that guy had trained and was skilled or whatever, he would have been in the starting lineup for Atlanta United, and we'd have to go with him because he had a skill, whatever player. Now, like, he ain't even coming close. And I think that's also a sign of progress because there are players that are better.
Andrew Carlton.
But you're talking the sign of progress in MLS. That's different than U.S. soccer.
But MLS is getting better.
Well, yeah, MLS is
US
getting better. I'm
getting
bullish
better.
on MLS. That you're saying MLS is getting better.
It's all getting better.
I'm talking about U.S. soccer. Now you're changing the goalposts here, Dave.
No, but I'm just using that as an example.
100% agree. MLS is getting better,
but I'm using
and
an
your
example.
example there is exactly right. Where Andrew Carlton's out of the equation now.
Out
of the equation.
Remember when our best export to Europe was Freddie Adu out of the whatever they call
now
that,
we got
that academy?
Thiago Almada, who was fabulous and still is and could still show magic in this World Cup.
No, but I was saying, so remember when Freddie Adu, so they had that.
How did we let Thiago Almada not get us an MLS Cup?
But, we used to have this residency program where all this, 16, whatever, the best in the national team would go to get really professional training because there were no like academies, right? So Freddie Adu came out of that. He tried to go to Europe, failed. Okay. That was our export, right? Nowadays, the players who are going to Europe, they're not coming out of some U.S. national team residency program. They're coming out of some MLS clubs. Some of them are even going to Europe before they ever go to an MLS club. And they're working their way up and they're showing like, oh my God, Joe Scally, right? Yeah. So Joe Scally is a kid from Long Island. He went to the high school, my rival high school, Sachem High School. Yep. That thing is like the definition of like no sophisticated soccer. They play like huge numbers and whatever. Okay. He left Long Island and is in Germany.
I will say it does seem like the MLS does have an uptick of exports of some younger players.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
The better players are going super early. I think they're still picking those players too early and not getting the best. And I think some of the better players are here behind and still progressing. But there's all kinds of prospects all over.
I don't disagree with that. I just think they lack some of the foundational stuff that is going to be our Achilles heel for a long,
if you look at the players from Atlanta United who have gone, so we've had two, Wiley and Bello, who've gone to Europe. Mm-hmm. They are perfect examples of players they picked early, really athletic, good going forward, no defending skills whatsoever, and are not going to make it in Europe. But they're still going. right? And it's a much better export than Freddie Adu. Even those guys, way better than Freddie Adu. They'll have serviceable
What
careers.
happened to Caleb Wiley?
Well, he went to Chelsea. They loaned him out. He hasn't done anything
But
he doesn't know how to defend.
Yeah, well,
Are we ever going to teach defending?
Pineda missed his window to actually teach him how to defend.
Yeah, you got to teach him how to defend. So, do I think that Atlanta United has a problem in their academy because they're still trying to win and they're winning all these trophies with attacking players like Carlton's little brother, right? But they still are not teaching them really how to defend.
And by the way, U.S. soccer, look at Spain, the most boring,
Yeah, they just
boring,
They are.
boring team, the least inspiring team of this World Cup
So boring.
that knows how to defend.
Well, they defend by keeping the ball.
They gave their first goal up, right?
Yeah,
This
they
World
did.
Cup?
That was their
First,
first goal because they've had the ball so much.
Yeah.
They don't have to defend.
So is that a defensive tactic, just to hold the ball?
Yeah.
Possession?
Yeah.
It's a terrible
no.
soccer tactic that makes for the most boring soccer. Spain went 2,500 passes in the World Cup prior to scoring the goal that they scored the first goal of the World Cup. They had made 2,500 passes since their last World Cup.
Explains a
goal.
lot from the Cabo Verde game.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And that can hurt you big time, and it will be why Spain goes out to France because they can't score.
Yeah.
They don't do anything offensively. They just pass the ball around. So that, again, Spain, you're like, we're talking about it. So Spain, those players on the Spanish team, they're actually for the very first time ever, there's no players on the Spanish team from the Real Madrid Academy who imports all of these from Real Madrid, who imports all these players who are stars. They grab, Bellingham, they grab Mbappe, they grab whatever. Barcelona trains them. They all come through their academy. Those guys are all on the Spanish national team. They are, the most trained players you possibly could think. They're technically amazing. They pass the ball around. Those are not street players. They don't break anybody down. They just keep the ball. They are the most trained players ever.
Can I get on to some important matters?
Sure.
Have you watched any of the YouTube videos on all the people who are experiencing the U.S. during the World Cup? Like,
Yes, they're
like
amazing.
British people going to Costco for the first
yes,
time.
I have
Buc-ee's.
seen those. I love
Buc-ee's.
Walmart was one.
Waffle House.
Yes.
They're like, what is this, America?
Those are amazing.
I do love those
And the
videos.
other thing I will say, our stadiums have shown class. And, I don't know if people remember, but in '94 we had the very first indoor game on grass,
Yeah,
which
the
was
Ford
in Detroit.
Stadium in Detroit.
That's right.
I watched a documentary on the guy who prepared all the grass for that.
Yeah,
They're like,
that-
hey, we need grass in the indoor
That
stadium.
field was shit.
Fascinating.
It was awful. But for this World Cup, which is the next time we've had a lot of indoor stadiums, they actually figured that shit out.
Big time.
The fields have been spectacular.
Atlanta United
indoor.
Stadium, and like even SoFi today. SoFi
Yeah.
looked
SoFi
gorgeous.
is slightly because it has some openings on the side, but it's still indoors. So.
Well, I'm saying the grass, like the field
I
of
know.
grass,
I know.
and the
And Houston is indoors.
Atlanta United.
Dallas is indoors.
Kudos to Atlanta United. The field looked amazing.
Yes. So America ingenuity in terms of stadiums, in terms of the grass fields, has been spectacular.
Yeah.
And the European fans are amazing. And the other thing that's happened is all the other countries who have come here. The other thing that's going to happen is once upon a time people would rumors. They would say you can't go to the U.S. to MLS. It's a backwaters place. And now they're showing up here and they're like they see the Atlanta United Academy grounds.
Yeah,
They see our
all the training
stadiums. They're like,
facilities.
wait a second.
Yeah.
I actually can go.
I think the word of mouth on that is critical
It's
for
critical.
MLS.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even for the future of American soccer, because if those players are playing against better players, they will be better.
Yeah. But where are they going to play against better players? Europe?
No, but I mean in MLS, if we become a place where younger players can come
True.
from other countries
True.
to make themselves and then go back to Europe, then we will make our players better.
So, had an argument. I'm just curious, Dave, where your perspective is. I had an argument with a crew here when we were watching the game on where MLS currently ranks against the championship,
The English championship.
English championship.
Okay.
Above or below? just overall, like whatever the grading system is, like in terms of the way that I would put it is like overall, if like top to bottom, you play the top teams, bottom teams, like who's going to win?
I think they're similar. What I would say is that it wouldn't surprise me if some of the championships teams can beat some of the MLS players despite not having as good a team, because it's a little more robust league in terms of just going and winning. But I think MLS is a better league in terms of developing players. They pass the ball.
I'm talking about winning and losing.
Winning and losing, I think they're similar.
Okay. But who's winning right now? Got to put your money down.
Mm-hmm. If the number one playing with number one and two,
just
two,
like
three,
almost like a balanced spreadsheet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Balanced spreadsheet.
I would say that the championship top clubs are still probably do really well in the MLS. But
you think that like who's the top now that's going up?
Who is going up? I should know this because I was just watching Welcome to Wrexham a couple of nights ago.
Is Leicester going up? They're in the top. I think Leicester's going back up, right?
No, I don't think so. I think they were quite down below.
Yeah, I can't believe I don't know this.
And Birmingham didn't go up, which was surprising.
Birmingham didn't go up. But yeah, can they beat LAFC, Inter Miami right now?
What I would say is I think the top teams would do well in the MLS, but I would say overall, I think the MLS teams would beat the championship.
Oh, I even think that like Inter Miami would beat the top championship teams.
Oh yeah, I mean our top team who wins the championship, which was MLS champions.
That's what I'm saying. You stack the table and then you have them play.
I think our top team, which last year was Miami. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're even getting relegated even in the Premier League. They're not going to be close to the title, but they're going to be a mid-table team.
That's what So what that to me signals that MLS has a slight edge over the championship.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is what I was saying.
Yeah, I agree with you.
To other people,
I agree with you. People downplay the MLS just because it's fun to do that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's an easy target. And of course, top to bottom, like in MLS teams, there's a lot of weaker players, particularly in the back line because of the DP rule and all that. Defenses
suck. So is in the championship.
So is in the
defenses are awful.
Oh, really?
Awful. Have you ever watched a Wrexham game? They score some terrible goals because nobody's defending. So I mean, the defense
very similar awful. Leagues.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very similar leagues.
I agree.
Okay. How much better do you think we can get than that league in the next 5 years?
I think
with the World Cup having come, and this is our opportunity.
Our ceiling is really high, but what has to happen, and the thing that I think is holding MLS back now is the television viewership. Right? I think the teams have really good support in the stadiums. I think that the quality of play has gotten way better, but your average person is still not willing to tune in. And, I think, again, not that they're ever going to do this, but if they could give the fans something a little bit more interesting, like promotion relegation, it would really change things.
So we're 5 years into this Apple TV deal?
Yeah, hasn't been great.
10 years, yeah, it's a disaster. And I'm sure Messi knows it too.
Sure.
Yeah.
But Messi's going to be a big influence in MLS because he's an owner. He is one of the biggest owners in Major League Soccer.
Already.
To me, that is the biggest X factor. A guy like that who's going to retire in the next 2 years, what is he going to do in terms of just trying to help U.S. soccer? You think he'll do anything, or he's just going to go to his yacht?
I think the U.S. he's going to go to his yacht, and he's not going to be. There are things that are going to help, but I don't think it's going to be Messi. Messi coming helped because it legitimizes the league.
Yeah, but don't you think he's going to be a sounding board for like, hey, can we get rid of the designated player rule and like?
He will help us to get rid of some of the things that are a little
and
too
say,
American.
Hey, now that we have 40 teams in MLS that's divided into two 20-tier tiers, and there's a promotion and relegation within the ownership of MLS. So at least there is pro and rel within the 40 teams of ownership, that you actually have, at least, even if it's kind of bullshit, that there's a pro and relegation.
I have never thought of what you just said, and I don't think exactly the way you said it.
I've been thinking about
That
that.
is a genius idea. We have enough MLS teams to have some kind of slight, where they would have a league where everybody would play to begin with. But then you could get into an upper league within MLS.
I think he just called you a genius, Mikey Dobbs.
I've been thinking about that a lot the last couple months.
Fucking genius. Because you solved the problem they have where
it's the
no
problem.
Owners want to be out of the league.
They're not going to be out of the league. You're still in the league. You're just, and you lose a little. You could start by saying, okay, it's kind of bullshit. You lose a little bit of money the first time they implement pro and rel in MLS. It's a facade, but then it becomes a little more real, and then it actually becomes pro and rel.
You'd have to do it really right.
Yeah, you'd have to do it really right.
So there's a real incentive to be in the promotion, but there's not the.
This is where you
don't need to be like a non-club if you're in the relegation.
You need to undo the ball of the financials of it to where it's like it's not that much of a risk for the investors, to where they unravel the ball, and then it's like 5%, 10%.
Put a lot of thought into the structure of that, but it's really intriguing.
Yeah,
I love it.
You have to have an analyst.
That's your most genius idea ever.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I love that idea. Love that. And it's so clever, of course, because, of course, we haven't. The people are like, well, how can you have a single league and have the winner or whatever?
I was literally thinking that exact same thing. He's called you clever, genius.
I like it. All right, let's go back because this is the World Cup episode, and I know we're dragging out for forever, so forgive us out there. But let's go back. Let's talk about the end of the World Cup. Let's talk about the teams that are going to win it, and what we think is going to end. And overall, I mean, it has been a spectacular World Cup.
Fantastic.
There have been a lot of goals. There have been late goals. There's been drama. The England-Mexico game, which we haven't talked about at all.
Even Ronaldo scored 3 goals. I mean, everybody.
The goal-scoring race between Mbappe and Messi and Erling Haaland. I mean,
yes.
Incredible.
And the teams. Go ahead.
No.
Cabo
Verde.
I mean, that was
and
exciting.
Norway tomorrow.
Norway, yes.
The rowing, the Erling Haaland. It's been a spectacular World Cup.
It has.
So, did you guys go to the England Dr. Congo game?
Yes.
Do you?
I did not.
Did you hear the chanting coming into the stadium?
Was that you?
That was me. I started, don't take me home. Don't take me home. I want to stay here. I want to drink beer. I had to look that up. I was like, what are they? I know we speak the same language.
But sometimes the accent.
It's like they're chanting, and I don't know what they're saying. But I was like, I like that chant. That's my chant. I don't want to go home.
That's another aspect of the culture, right? Even within the stadium, it's got to be, the chanting has to be specific. If we've learned nothing, people in America make chants for the individual teams. Anyway, that's another story. We can talk about that all the time. All right, so the end of the World Cup. Who's going to win? How exciting it is. What do you got?
Well, I got a French wine for a reason.
Fuck.
So we have French. So who's in the semis?
To be honest, with all of the excitement there is the World Cup so far, there's no excitement in the end. France is going to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they're by far the best team. I mean, they may not win. They could get some super unlucky, but they are by so far the best team.
But have we heard the theories that this is the year of like people winning who should not win? Like the Knicks.
So the only team that
my heart just skipped.
There's only 2 teams that could kind of be right now, which would be England or Norway.
I think it's England, the team that like hasn't won in
can't beat
forever.
France.
They shouldn't.
There we go.
Now Tuchel's got a genius he's got these game plans and maybe.
I'm saying
but
they shouldn't.
They are so much better than any other team. I mean, it's not even close.
Yeah, it's not even close.
It's not close.
They are so talented. They have everything on the team. Offense,
like
midfield,
3 people
defense.
deep. Like
even in the back, for example, you talk about the back and how all these teams are terrible in the back. France, they leave the guy one-on-one with the attacker. It doesn't matter who it is.
Yep.
They just gobble them up. They're
take
like,
care of
I
it.
don't care. You cannot beat me. I will take the ball and start it going the other way.
It looks super dangerous for a second,
Yeah.
but you're like, oh, they
You
kinda,
can't run by him.
Like
You
they
can't
kind of had that
physical
under
by him.
control.
You can't get free in the box. I
All
mean,
right, I'm predicting right now they're going to lose. I don't know to who. I want them
No
to win.
way. You're
probably
they're gonna
right,
lose.
but
I don't know to whom, but they're going to lose.
I'll bet like 6 bottles of wine. There's no way.
Yeah. Well, I bet I
I
did,
mean, if
I
they
did-
lose, there's
I-
something wrong with soccer.
I did bet more than 6 bottle of wines on France, to be honest. So I'm hoping I'm going to at least get a couple bottles
You're
back on that.
absolutely right.
Oh gosh! So we're all
If
thinking
you want to
France.
take the dumb bet, Mikey Dobbs, then you can win that.
Yeah.
And you can give some of them bottles back to
Yeah,
us.
not going to do that.
Because it's a
This
dumb
is my
bet.
gift tonight. My
Yeah.
gift tonight.
Yeah.
My
We
pen-
can have multiple Chateauneuf De Pape.
Chateauneuf De Pape.
Can't do it.
Okay, so forget that. So we got France versus Spain. That's already set.
Yep.
Tomorrow you got Norway versus England.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who do you predict wins that?
I think England's going to win.
England for me too.
No. I know who I want to win.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be tough, though. I think England's got to show something different than they haven't showed in this World Cup yet.
And then the last game, Argentina with the easiest draw ever, getting Switzerland.
Yeah.
After all, they're still going to win. They're going to look terrible. And Messi will score a goal and they'll find a way. But then when they get to the semifinals, they're getting killed. Whether it's Norway or England, they're going out.
But do you think that Sweden can be the stupid weird one in this?
Switzerland.
I get those
it's
two
Switzerland,
confused
sorry.
too.
Switzerland.
I always get them
They're
confused.
awful.
Yeah.
They're not that good.
They beat Colombia on penalty kicks after
Yeah.
0-0. Nobody could score.
Colombia-
That's the worst game of the entire World
Colombia
Cup.
was so much better, they just couldn't score.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
there's
Argentina's
there's
still.
no
I mean,
team-
there have been very few 0-0
There's no
draws.
team I want to lose more than Switzerland right now.
Right. Yeah. Just say bye-bye. Was anybody going to watch that? No.
Do you think?
But Argentina will make it entertaining because they're so flawed.
Yeah.
They have Messi and they have attacking and they
Yeah.
are so flawed.
I'll watch. I'll
Yeah.
still be there. Probably drunk after the England game. Might as well stay and watch.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? Just keep going.
Why not?
So, okay, keep going. So now we got Switzerland, Argentina. Who wins that?
Argentina. I mean,
Argentina?
there's no chance. It's Argentina, England, Spain, France, which is a terrific semifinal.
That's a great semifinal.
Spain, France. France wins.
France
Okay?
wins.
So,
England beats Argentina, and it's England, France in the final. Super
But-
rival.
Okay, I'm pretty. Okay,
but hold on. We're gonna have an England Argentina game
Yeah.
yeah.
in
taking
Atlanta
Argentina.
semifinal.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tickets right now, the
That's our
cheapest. We
semifinal.
looked them up.
oh Lord.
2,500.
That's actually not that bad.
Are
right
you
now,
kidding
That's
me?
not that bad.
Considering.
Are you all out of your mind?
It's still crazy.
I would never buy it.
I wouldn't buy it either.
It's just less than I thought it would be, even for a 300 seat. I mean, you just went to round of 32 Argentina. Or
But that was
was that round of 16?
Round of 16.
Round
but that
of
was
16.
Egypt and Argentina.
Yeah, you got to see Mo Salah and Messi on the field.
I
You didn't
Yeah.
give us your
How
ticket.
good was that game?
It was a great game. It was a great game.
Great game. That was an epic.
It's actually
It was a
funny
great
because
game.
Mikey Dobbs and I went to the 32 and you went to the 16. So
Yeah.
we've been.
Yeah, you just putting us to shame there with a better. Yeah, I did.
I
get-
wanted to go to one more match, either the 16 or the semifinal.
No, I'll
and
probably
no,
be
I
there.
can't afford
It's
it.
not too late, Dave.
But I can't afford it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
The Falkland Islands.
I know.
War game. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
There's
Like,
a history, England,
yeah.
Argentina.
Who will control the Penguins? There was a comedian who was like talking. And he was like, "There's an He's an English comedian. He was like an Argentinian guy in the.
Right.
He was like, yeah, that whole Falkland Islands thing. He was like, like, what are we really worried about? Who's going to control the Penguins? Like, what are we arguing?
Have you guys watched, by the way, the late night with James Corden? Those
I have
things?
watched some of
They are
them.
amazing.
They're pretty good.
I've heard about them, but I
It's
haven't watched them.
incredible.
Yeah,
It's
I've-
absolutely incredible. It's hilarious.
YouTube that up.
Yeah, really good. I would recommend it. Watch it. It's well worth watching.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna have a repeat of France Argentina likely in the
I think
No,
England
France,
beats
England.
France,
England's
England.
going to beat Argentina.
no.
And England
Well,
wins
at
it.
least we have a disagreement.
England wins it, people.
So if England plays
called it here.
Argentina, that's our bottle of wine.
It is going to be a repeat of the World Cup final next year, and Mbappe is unstoppable this year.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, Mbappe's unstoppable. I'm not sure it's a repeat. Do you think that Norway is going to beat England?
Norway is going to beat England?
Who are England's defenders? Who do we have on Haaland? Who do we have stopping him? I can't remember.
They're just his teammates.
I think
they're all used to him, right?
Okay.
Every single one of them has played
That's
against
a great
Haaland.
point.
There's
multiple
kind of a
times.
chance.
good
Like, I
point.
mean, Holland's just he's a quiet, hungry guy that everybody wants to feed. They want to feed the beast.
Yeah, but what's going to happen to England that Norway hasn't seen is they're going to choke the midfield like they haven't seen, and they're going to block crosses like you haven't seen.
Odegaard can handle that.
No.
No.
I mean, Odegaard's a good player, but no.
He's one of the best in the Premier League.
Yeah, he's very good, but he's not special.
So who's great in England's midfield that's going to choke him up?
Oh, Declan Rice is incredible.
He has been playing out of
He's
his
just
mind.
amazing.
I love Declan Rice.
Their whole midfield.
I feel like Odegaard is right at the same
Anderson
level.
and
Odegaard same
and
level.
Not in
Declan
his
Rice.
journey, though, it seems
Their
like.
center
I think so.
midfield.
I
Their
disagree.
center midfield with Jude Bellingham, Declan, and Anderson is exceptional.
I never heard of Anderson. Who
I'm
does he
not
play
that
for?
impressed with Jude
He's
Bellingham
now
this
playing
tournament.
for Man City. Just
Dang it! Because he is good.
He's
that
really
kid,
good.
that guy.
I'm not that impressed. I mean, look, I'm wearing the England jersey, by
I
the
see
way.
it.
Yeah, you're
I
an
see
idiot.
it. Like,
I'm just not that impressed with
Hey.
Bellingham.
What? How dare you, sir?
He's really good. Because unlike a certain player who won't be named for Manchester United, I mean, he actually plays an attacking midfield role, will go forward and score goals, and he defensively gets back, makes a tackle, is in
That
places.
tackle he made in Mexico, that one he kicked. Oh, my
DR
jeez.
Congo, they don't get in the box.
Okay, they were super boring.
Mexico
in that game.
did.
They don't get in the box, man.
But Mexico, come on. I
In
feel
the-
like they're
to win
picking
in
it
the
up. They're
Azteca,
picking it up.
that game was
That's
pure-
a hostile
They are
environment.
picking it up.
Hold
That was
on.
the best environment in World Cup history, probably.
that was one of the best games I've ever seen.
Ever.
That's
It
incredible.
I was standing up, leaning in, but that was just complete mayhem because it's at the Azteca.
Right, impossible to win there at altitude against that crowd.
Seriously though, and that clearance.
It was the most hostile.
for Bellingham to clear.
I
that
think that was the most hostile home crowd
Yeah.
in the history of the World Cup.
You guys might be beating me down here, and that was a great England win. Don't get me wrong.
Incredible,
Fantastic.
and they
Incredible.
won with a man down for 30 minutes.
Yeah, I'm just being a pessimist because they're my team I'm rooting on from here on out, like in my heart.
Oh.
So now the U.S. is out.
Tuchel's a genius at just winning cup games by nullifying whatever the other
So
team does.
I'm being negative
So
on England because
his
of that.
genius, Tuchel, he's not a good club coach because all he does is set up his team as like magnets. You will do what I do, and they nullify that whatever the other team does best. But if you nullify what the other team does best, Odegaard and Holland, they're done. There's no way that Norway's going to beat them.
All right. I think we've been podcasting for like an hour and 45 minutes.
Forever. It's the longest podcast in history.
This
in
is.
the history of the
And
world.
one of the best.
Which is, hold on, this World Cup.
Worth it.
I thought 48 teams is too much.
I've loved every second of this.
Keep giving me, like,
love it
although,
so
like,
much.
I don't know that I can.
I thought it
handle
was going to be awful, and
did.
I was wrong.
It's so
That was
beautiful.
wrong. It was amazing.
I thought they were going to be
is
12-0 games in the first round.
the complete overload of soccer has been incredible.
I'm
I'm
so
like, oh my God,
happy.
there's a game on again. I'm like, I need to focus. I need to focus.
You know,
Seriously.
back in the day, I don't know if you remember this, but there was a thing called Fox Soccer Channel.
Yeah.
It was the very early days, and they made a Fox Soccer Channel. And there was a commercial for the Fox Soccer Channel. It's a guy dribbling down the sidewalk, and he falls over, and he like collapses on the ground. They're like, oh, they run over to there, and he's got one of these diabetic bracelets,
Yeah.
but it has a soccer ball on it. And they were like, oh, this man just needs some football. And that's how I felt during this World Cup.
Which is only like a day ago. We had one off day.
Oh my God.
Dave was like, oh my God.
That was me on Wednesday. I was
Give me the
like,
next hit. Give it to me.
I literally wake up
Let's
every
go.
morning. Alexa, what are the games today?
Yeah.
And on Wednesday, when they're
Give
like,
it
there
to me.
are no games today.
Give me more hits.
So
It's
tomorrow
horrible.
we got England, Norway.
We have, my lab at Emory University. We've been projecting the games on a whiteboard in the laboratory while we're doing experiments. So,
Fantastic. You're a good leader.
I'm about to say, can we not be distracted from saving me from Alzheimer's? But this is worth it.
Worth it.
That is worth it.
Worth it.
All right. Well, we have talked about as much as we can.
Pretty much.
On a Friday night, if you listen in.
If you're still here, you're crazy.
Yes.
And you're football crazy, and we love you.
Yes. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
You see? I do it, coach. Good morning.
Let's go, England.
Then you know how to